Testing. 1, 2. Test. All right, we're good. So, want to get a last-minute stream in for this upcoming UFC card. We have Magny versus Carlos Prates here as the main event. We'll talk about that first. It's really not a great DFS main event because you have Prates, who is a finisher. Like, all of his wins are coming by finish, and he's a pure striker. So I don't see the 5 rounds benefiting him that much, and I think that he's going to win the way he normally does: round 1, round 2 KO, put up his 90 to 105 points. Let's see, 112, 106, 95. Yeah, I think that distribution is pretty accurate. He's going to win and score 90 to 110, roughly. Is that enough at 9.6K on an 11-fight card? Normally I would say, yeah, probably. But as we get into this card, you'll see we have just a ton of good options for these spend-ups. You have Abdul Malik, Robertson, De Ridder, even Romeus, and we'll talk about that a bit more. But off the bat, I think that Carlos Prates is a pretty tough play here at what I'm seeing, which is 50+% ownership. I think that you can definitely make pivots. And something that Eric Sheetshaber suggested doing, I call it I've named it the Sheets salary trick in MMA, is when you have a fighter that has a higher median projection, like Carlos Prates, he has the highest median projection this week. You can find a fighter with similar upside as him. So Abdul Malik, Jillian Robertson, even De Ridder, maybe even Romeus, all have the same upside. And you can play lineups that leave enough money to get to Prates, but then instead of playing Prates, you're playing one of those fighters I just mentioned. And that's a way to organically get a really unique, because not a lot of optimizers, not a lot of people are going to play that way. So shout out to Sheets for that strategy. I think it's a very smart idea this week. We'll talk about the others. Abdul Malik, elite wrestling, elite finishing line. He's one of the best plays on the slate, 9.3K, minus 400 favorite, extremely strong. Jillian Robertson, takedowns, submissions, control time. She's one of the stronger spend-ups this week as well. De Ridder, he's fighting Gerald Meerschaert. We all kind of know what Meerschaert's story is. He comes in and he'll get beat up for round 1, and then if someone has bad cardio, he'll come back and win. And if they don't, he'll probably get finished himself. So I think Meerschaert, he always provides a pretty good fantasy environment from the way he fights. He's kind of kill or be killed. So I think that'll benefit De Ridder. Let me just check De Ridder's actual metrics. He's 3-1 favorite to win, and his ITD line is plus 110. It looks pretty fringy on paper, but once again, just the environment that I always see Meerschaert bring to fights, I think that this fight will probably deliver here. And then to talk about Meerschaert a little bit, you always want to play him in MME. You just do. He can put up your 90 points that you need at 7K. He's done it many, many times. He's always fairly low owned as well. And he's just always a staple in my MME builds, and that doesn't really change this week. All of these underdogs right here for after Meerschaert, Pinheiro, Todorovic, Kovacevic, Scroggin, Magny, for starters, they're just not winning that often. Like, you're seeing plus 300, plus 400, plus 600. That's a really tough bargain to play someone that's only going to win that often, right? So if you're going to play one of these guys all the way down here, make sure you're getting leverage. That's all I would say. Make sure you're playing Neil Magny, who's going to be going against Prates, one of the highest owned fighters on the slate, and has 5-round upside at 6.6K minimum price. Make sure you're playing, I hate to say it, but I guess Scroggin's in play, just because Zaleski dos Santos is going to be 80% owned or whatever he is. So I guess, yeah, you can make a case to play Scroggins 10%. Kovacevic, probably a really bad play. Gomes not going to be high owned. And Kovacevic, she does have volume upside. So I guess, yeah, okay. She has a bit of volume upside, 90 to 100. So I guess you can make a case for the upside, but she's just not winning that often, and you're not getting leverage from Gomes. Yeah, plus 450, even with the volume upside, it's just I don't think you can do that with that. And is she really that low owned? Kovacevic? No, not really. I mean, I'm seeing near 20%. So yeah, I think Kovacevic, Tudorovic, probably almost complete passes. Pinheiro, probably a complete pass as well. The only fighters down here you can really justify playing are the leverage fighters, which are Scroggin and Magny. And then we'll go up to the tier. Damone Blackshear, I think this is a really weak play. Cody Stamann, he's always a guy who will fight to the level of his competition. He'll always keep you close. He never really gets blown out. He never gives up that many fantasy points, and I don't really see that changing here. I think that Cody Stamann will give him a tough fight, and I don't think Blackshear will be able to get that many takedowns. Cody Stamann's historically extremely hard to finish. Damone Blackshear plus 300 ITD, that's no good. Yeah, I think Damone Blackshear is extremely weak here. Cody Stamann is actually my preferred side. He doesn't have a lot of finishing upside, but what he does have is he has takedowns as well. So if we're assuming Cody Stamann wins this fight, he's 7.3K. He has takedown upside. 80, 85 points, that could be enough. In a decision, that might be enough, especially looking at how unlikely the underdogs are to win this week. I think Cody Stamann is actually a very good play here, especially at really low ownership too. Actually, I take that back. Not the lowest ownership, but I still think he's a priority underdog here. And then this is kind of my sneaky play of the week. Melissa Mullins, really low owned, sub 20%. And I think she has a path here to find a finish, submission, ground and pound TKO. For starters, she's a 3-1 favorite, which is very strong for only 8.8K. And then just from everything I've been hearing, from everything I've seen, I think Melissa Mullins should have a significant ground advantage here. If she can get her takedowns, she can have a extremely good upside with ground and pound and submission. On paper, it doesn't. Actually, no, it actually doesn't. So her ITD line is only plus 180, right? Like 8.8K plus 180 ITD plus a takedown path to victory. I think it's going extremely overlooked here at 17%. So yeah, I think Melissa Mullins is kind of my hipster play of the week. And MME could put up a ton of points at really low ownership. We'll go down to Bolanos versus Romeus. Both sides. Romeus has the grappling upside, and Bolanos has the striking and knockout upside. I think it's a very binary fight, and for DFS purposes, that's usually very good. Trishan Gore, Tricoli, you have to play just because there's simply not many good underdogs this week. When you have a guy who's plus 140 to win, and all these other underdogs are plus 200, plus 300, plus 400 to win, you have to play Tricoli. So Tricoli priority for sure. Gore on the other side, not a great money line, but his ITD line is plus 200. Gore's in play. You know what? He's in play. I think he's fine. Radke, Semmelsberger, both sides. Semmelsberger probably the preferred side just because there's not good underdogs this week. You're going to need Semmelsberger in your pool. Radke also has finishing upside as well. So I like him. And then last but not least, we'll get to the most important part of the slate, Oleski Dos Santos. his original opponent fell out, so now he's minus 800 with a minus 150 ITD line at only 8K. On paper, that's obviously the best play on the slate. Gonna need to get to him. The question is, what do you want to do with it? If you want to play a portfolio where you're if you just assume, right, that Dos Santos wins the way he's been winning recently, which is low volume striking decisions, and puts up, I mean, he put up 49 in a decision win, 72. Like, I know it's matchup dependent, right? You can't always look at the game log, but let's not pretend that Dos Santos is this huge fantasy upside guy historically. He really isn't. So if you were to tell me that you're playing 0% Dos Santos and you're just going for the throat, trying to be unique, getting all these other combinations, I would not fault you. I really wouldn't. Obviously, if you're just running builds, you're going to get a ton of him. But if you want to think, of upside, is a 75-point decision enough here at 8K to pay off 70% ownership? Probably not. So I don't blame you if you're taking that route. And I also don't blame you if you're taking the route of just playing 100% of him, using him as a free square. I understand both sides. For me, I'm kind of in the middle. In my MME stuff, I'm definitely taking a little bit more aggressive of a stand in getting other combinations without Dos Santos. And then in my single entry stuff, I'm playing a lot of him. So I'm just kind of basing it on the contest I'm playing. And I can understand both sides of the argument here. But it's no secret in terms of the best plays, he's the best play. No one in the chat right now. Okay. Let me think if there's anything else I want to talk about. Fight stack. No, not this week. Actually, if you're going to do a fight stack this week, you don't want to do the Prates and Magny fight. You would probably want to do one of these 3-round fights. That would be my take. As far as which fight to do, it's tough to say. I know Sheets said that he was going to do the Tercios and Sopaj fight, and I agree. That would have been a great potential target for a 3-round fight stack. With that fight gone, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of this just pick your poison. I would just maybe turn it off, run like a few lineups, see what SaberSim thinks. Or maybe if you want a hand build, I don't know. To be honest, these 3-rounders don't really look like they have the upside for a stack either on paper. I guess maybe this Carolina versus Denise Gomes, because if it's on the feet for 3 rounds and you get just a significant amount of volume, 100 strikes, 100 plus strikes from each fighter, maybe that could work. But once again, it's unlikely. I'm just trying to throw out ideas to get unique on a card that's very tough to do so. So that would be my take. Don't stack the 5-rounder. Maybe stack a 3-rounder. And yeah, me personally, I would really be cautious of playing these 7K and below fighters unless you're getting leverage, because it's really a losing bargain playing a guy who's plus 500 to win. It's just a really tough play to make. So that's pretty much all my thoughts I have on this slate. If anyone has any questions, please let me know in the Discord or in the comment section. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.